Welcome up, welcome up, welcome up. Welcome up, Soul Family. Welcome up. My name is Miss 11, and you are at the right place at the right time. In fact, speak over yourself that I'm always in the right place at the right time, because you are. You know that you are. But start speaking that over yourself. Watch how things begin to open up for you. I know who this is for. I mean, this is coming off the dome already. But pay attention to how you really speak over yourself and how you really believe whatever about yourself. Be careful with that. Keep in mind, a lot of things have been projected, or we've been programmed or conditioned to think a certain way. But when you begin and believe, and then you begin to know who you really are, then you understand that in your life, the challenges, all the challenges, even since you were a kid that you really endured, all were to remind you of who you are. Even as a young kid, you knew that you were a super kid on the inside. You knew that you were. You just knew that you were. And you already had that connection with your higher self or whatever guide, because you know you've always had a guide with you. You know that since you were a kid. So I was just lying here, really just sitting here meditating or whatever, just, thinking to myself. And I was just guided to come on to remind someone, or just to release you of something, whatever that is for you. But what I got was, really let go of the past. Knowing what you know now, and where you are in your level of growth and understanding who you are. When you begin to understand that, truly understand that, okay, and know that, and understand that, understand it, then you see yourself even in your parents. Think about it. They created you, right? So all their DNA is all mixed in with you, which means you still have a part of what? Their DNA. Even the things that they didn't heal over, right? That's all that generational patterns really are. That's what it is. But we knowingly can heal a lot of things that we really don't want any other kid, especially our inner child, to ever experience again. So when you begin to understand that, then you begin to heal that deep inner wound as a kid, wherever that stemmed from. And I think when kids are really gifted and tapped in, and they know they're different, they already know that, is they feel misunderstood, judged, shunned, or couldn't speak up for themselves. They just couldn't. They just felt like they couldn't. They didn't have the space to do that, because I believe a part of them, or whomever, us, as children, we already knew that we were advanced in some way. Okay? And when I say advanced in knowing that, okay, something is different. You just know that. Something is different. What a gift that is to recognize that. Because you begin to understand who you really are. And as we begin to mature, that sense of wonder and that sense of wanting to learn and wanting to experience life begins to look different, because we notice that people have built themselves in this sense of status, almost in a robotic way, or whatever that is. They weren't able to express their authentic selves because they had to be under an umbrella of a certain status or acceptance, you know? But deep inside, they felt as if they couldn't express themselves. In whatever way that is. Because I think that looks different on everyone. So I digress. I don't know where all that came from, other than Spirit want me to just come on and say, release all of that. Because you really already know better. In fact, you knew better then, right? So release that. Things that you were never in control of. Release all of that. Because everything is it just is what it is. But you were guided through all of that. Whether you swayed off the course or not, because there's no such thing. Everyone has their own path. And it's going to look different because everyone has their own path. That's why it's critical to really be in a space. I just saw 646. Being in a space of your authenticity. Do you know how many people wear masks in this world just to, I don't know, feel like they're in a certain status? But on the inside, they're crumbling because they have to wear a mask when they hit the door. They had to put it on. That's exhausting. I'm sure it has to be, right? We've all been there. No one's shunning it. No one's judging it. But I think at some point you just say, you know, I think I just want to be myself. I think I just want to be myself. And oh, what a life that is. When you can show up as your authentic self. You're not bothering anyone, right? You just on your path. La-da-da-da-da. Listening to your guidance, your intuition, whatever that looks like for you. But I just came on to say, release yourself of the things you cannot control, especially when you're a kid. Forgive all of it. Forgive yourself. Forgive them. Because they're still a part of you. You know? Let them off the hook. That's what I just heard. Let them off the hook. They did the best they knew how to do. Right? Because someone else raised them. They came from a certain environment that they had to endure. You know? Whatever that looked like. Everyone's experience is different. Things they probably never shared with anyone they probably experienced. But they knew on the inside they did. Right? We don't know. We really don't know. But all we do know is that's not who we are. That's not who you are. Something in you switched. You knew that you wanted better. Because our lives are what? Better every day. Whatever that looks like. Whatever you got it to, I don't know, resonate with this message. It may not be for everyone, but I'm just being obedient. Because you're loved. You've always been loved. You always knew that you were loved from a higher source. Because you knew you were always guided. You always knew that. In the back of your mind, you knew that. You just began to lean more into it. What is that all about? Where is this guidance really coming from? Is this really my higher self guiding me? You know, my ancestors applauding me and, you know, breaking some things, some patterns in my own life and, you know, lineage. You're loved.